Welcome back to Creating Legacy. Hello, legacy makers. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys some of the math manipulatives that we've used that have helped us tremendously, and especially my daughter first learning how to learn math facts, and all sorts of different concepts. The very first thing, if you are starting to homeschool, or if you have a little one that you're homeschooling, and even as they get older, good old fashioned counters. We have these we used to have beta fish, and so this was like very much cleaned off. These are the little pebbles, the little blue and white pebbles that we had at the at the bottom of the fishbowl. And we got this from somewhere, little diamonds, things like that. Basically, the whole method is using marbles, something small that children can use when they're trying to understand math. One thing that I saw is there are times when people will get curriculum when their kids are in like first, second, third grade that's online, or they'll have them do things like with supplemental curriculum like Mia Academy or Adapted Minds, which I think they're good. I wouldn't recommend that be your primary learning, especially for math. Math is, even if your child is getting everything right, it's very difficult. They need to be able to conceptualize math facts spatially, touch it, feel it, like, so that the numbers are real to them. So having counters and things like that is very good, and it helps a lot. I'm not saying that they can't learn the other way, but it really helps them quite a bit to have something in their hand that they can use. And I'm doing multiple filming today, so if I'm wearing the same clothes, it's because it is the same day, probably 5 minutes ago. So these counters, there's another thing that I really loved, and this is a little place value mat. For some reason, place value for children sometimes can be a difficult concept. It's definitely another one of those things that they need to see and touch and feel in order to understand. This place value mat, I got it on Amazon. I probably got everything on Amazon. Love it. And the place value mat has been really valuable to us. And it's just really simple. My daughter loves it. If I have the number 123, then she knows the 1 goes in the ones place, the 2 goes in the tens place, the 3 goes in the hundreds place. And I'm sorry, it's probably flipped around for you guys, but this is what it would look like. Also, alternatively, you can also put your blocks as well in this space. And I have little yellow things for the ones space. In the hundred space, I have like a red block for that. And so those are things that also, this is another useful tool. I did have to show her some YouTube videos as well. Never discount YouTube learning. Has helped a lot, just to give children, sorry, I dropped one, just to give kids a little bit of an extra way of looking at things. There are very creative videos that people have made that have really been helpful in understanding concepts. And another one, let's see here, so many. I even got some dice, just to have some dice around, because, and as you guys know, hopefully you know by now, I absolutely adore apology and math. And there are times when we need dice, and probably just a couple, but it was so cheap to get all of them, so I just got all of them. And she gets to pick her color, and we'll roll dice. There's a lot of different ways that they use dice, also to help with math, and it's great. Let's see, these are other little counters, but these are magnetic, and I'll be using them for other different projects I loved for place value. And then after this, I will switch from place value, but I want to kind of show you something. This came like with 4 of these. We only need like 1 or 2 because it's just the 2 of us, but it came 4 to a pack. It's from Hand to Mind, and again, Amazon. And it shows the place values, and it's a dry erase marker, and it's dry erase board, sorry, and you can use your dry erase markers to write numbers and to learn more thoroughly your place value. Also, you can use those little magnetic, it's like pens, but they're magnetic. They look like push pins, but they're magnetic, and you can put that on here as well. Here's the other side. Is that right? Yeah. If you want to get into from ones to millions, So this is going to be great for us all the way through like the 4th and 5th grade. So great, great, great stuff to have throughout all of elementary, really. And I can't tell you how fun this is. Just digging around in my cube. Anyway, I can't find that part. I probably pulled it out already. But yeah, anyway, there's like a little stamp that goes on it. And this is where you would put your 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you'd count it off on your 10s frame. And so you can use either dry erase on a laminated board, or I can even use the stamp as well, which I really like. So here's like a little hidden trick that I absolutely adore. And it is, well, I'll just pull them out and show you. Oh, here's the frame, 10s frame. And the little round thing also sits on top, and it's used for to stamp this whole thing on it. A bag of tricks. And so here's another great concept. They're called wrap-ups, and some of you may have seen them before. Love wrap-ups because many people have never heard of them, but they are so awesome, especially if your kids are like not getting it when you give them, like when you show them flashcards. I had a hard time showing my daughter flashcards and getting her to understand her addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division facts. She did better in her head than when I would show. In other words, it's not really a teaching tool. Of course, it's more to help reinforce it. Now she does pretty well with them, but in the beginning, it was just like really overwhelming. This is really fun. I got this from a place called the Homeschool store. So this may have Saxon at the top, but I assure you that Learning Wrap-Ups is an actual company. And so Saxon must have gotten a deal with them to put, to brand it in their, we never use Saxon. But this is, for instance, the subtraction one. And I have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and I have fractions as well. So if your child needs to learn fractions, they can. The way that wrap-ups works is, for instance, if you see here, this would be like 1/2. So I would start right here on the very first, and it tells you where to start, and I would wrap it to wherever it says half. The next one is 1/3, and I would find it 1/3, and I would wrap it. The next one is, let's see, 2/6. So I find 2/6, which is here. The next is 3/4. So I would do that, and so on and so on. And so you would do that, and it's self-correcting. So when you look at the back, everything should be matched up with these little, sorry if it's hard to see, if they're raised areas. So once you wrap the whole thing up, it should be showing correctly. And that's how you do it. And I can do it really quickly for the multiplication wrap-ups because I can just, it's like 4 times 1. So 4 times 1, and it's like 4 times 1 is 4. 2 times 1, of course, would be 2. 12 would be 12. 11 would be 11. And you just keep winding it up until you finish. And so if you have one that's not making sense, they probably missed one or put something in the incorrect one little slot. So 10 is 10. And then you just stick it right here, turn it over, and everything should be matching up correctly. And I did miss one. Actually, I didn't miss it. I think it slipped on me. So, yeah, it slipped on me. It slipped up a little bit on me. So the 5 times 1 is 5. So yeah, but yeah, it slipped. So sometimes you'll get a little slip like that. So when you turn it over, you can tell. I'm actually glad it happened. You can tell right in here that something was skipped, and that's why it's self-correcting. And so they have them for everything. They even have one for states, which I have. I have multiplication, addition, subtraction, division. I have fractions, and I have the U.S. states, which I think is so awesome to have. I must have the U.S. states in a different one because it's not math related. And let's see what else I have here that I can show you from my bag of tricks. Oh, also for the tens frames, another thing you can do is use these connecting trays, which I think we actually use this more than we use the stamps. And once she pretty much conceptualized all that, she really didn't need this anymore. But some kids may need a little bit more time with tens frames. Certainly is a great tool. You can either use stamps, you can use this. It was great for us, and I loved it. And it's really cool because they'll have a whole tens frame if you want to make it 15. And you connect it together, which I'm doing not so well. And you connect it together. And if you want to add another one to it, you can. Let's see here. There you go. You can add the other one to it here. And then you have 20, or you can just put 2 of these tens frames together and make 20, 25, what have you. You can do it for large numbers. And I think it's a really great concept. My daughter used just kind of the way that she started learning. This was great in the beginning, and then she started doing something else. She just kind of figures it out on her own in other ways, but it's really great in helping them with visualizing large numbers. And these are the little things that go along with it. And geometric solids, these are see-through, and it really helps with 3D geometric shapes. So you have, you have cubes and all sorts of things like that. I really like them. We'll use them more in Apologia toward the end of the book. That's usually when they start getting into angles and geography in the second, third, and fourth grades. And of course, you cannot beat good old Lincoln cubes. When my daughter was a little bit younger, Lincoln cubes, at least these were pretty tight. It was harder for her to manipulate, and she's able to do it better now. And these come with cards, kind of like a game that they can, if you want to call it a game, activities, I guess was a better one. And yeah. And there's an activity book, if you want to call it an activity book, I guess. Yeah, activity guide. And it'll tell you what to do for each card grouping, like cards 9A through 10A. You're counting in multiples, 10B through 11A. You're sharing cards, so it shows you how to do all of those things. I guess when they say sharing, they're meaning carry the one, maybe. And yeah. You can also build shapes with it as well. So it's a great way of keeping your kid busy. Almost can use it in game school, because we do like game school also. It's another way of teaching your kids how to learn different things without them feeling like they're learning, but it's an activity, or it's fun. We have more game school that's geared toward writing, as I just really love writing. And I didn't feel like she needed a lot because of Apologia Math. There were so many built-in activities in their books that I don't really feel like we have to do a lot of game schooling with them, with that particular curriculum, because they pretty much have built-in games already, which is amazing, because you want your kids to learn in a way that's fun and hands-on, so they can spatially understand all of the good things. Here's the flashcards that we do use nowadays. It has addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Of course, once your kid learns, you can actually drill them. It already comes hole punched, and it has rings also, which we use. And yeah, and we use them this way. I kind of put like a sticky note so I can see where we left off. But yeah, and it's probably backwards for you possibly, but I love these cards. They're really cool. So that's pretty much it for our math manipulatives that we have here in our house. Let me know in the description below or in the comments below what you guys like to use. Bye.